They ran for their lives away from the flaming head, not the spooky, spicy carrot. Did we lose it? I hope so. Wait, don't you hear something strange? There's a swarm of rats coming! The flaming head is back too. We must flee below. Hurry! Ah, shit! I don't know where I'm going. Thing is, I was surprised that we hadn't seen any rats by now, because that's what they're for, aren't they? What the flaming head is for. Ugh, God. Where are they? Honestly, those rats are more scary than the carrot is. Oh, God. How long is this going to take? Ah, shit! No, no! Sorry guys, this is a lot harder than it looks. No. Ah, finally. I could still hear the rats, but the flaming head must be gone. Gross. Sounds like we lost them. I didn't think he'd be able to control both the flaming head and the rats. Can we even put up a proper fight against him with just the two of us? Viscount! Behind you! Help! What's all the commotion about? Wait, it's just a person. Who are you? I'm the rat catcher, hired by this opera house. Everyone seems to run away when they see me before I can explain who I am, because I move too slowly. The fireman, the security guards, such cowards, the lot of them. Did you create the flaming head too? Flaming head? My rat's ass. Everyone misunderstood. When I hold this lamp close to my face. Stop! You don't need to show us. Anyway, now that you know, please say hello next time you see me instead of running away. Wait a moment. Do you work for the Phantom of the Opera by any chance? What? The Phantom of the Opera? Do you think I'd still be working here if I saw some kind of phantom, you donkey? You people are stupid. Well, it's a relief he's not working for Erik, at least. Looks like I was startled for no reason. Are you telling me that the carrot was just a man holding a lamp close to his face? That's what that was? Really? Same here, Viscount. Why don't you take a look down there while I rest a bit? Oh, I got a trophy for finding out about the truth of the head. Okay. He'll probably come up from below, so you'll be able to keep an eye out for him too. Oh, a cat! A cat! Hello, kitty. I thought this was blood last time, but it's just a blanket. But it does look a bit like blood. Is that the sound of water? Raoul asks. Oh, that means we're getting closer to the lake. Now, I do remember Philippe in the book following Raoul. Spoiler, if this is all new to you. Spoiler, following Raoul down. But If I said before, if my husband, if my count dies in this version, I am not gonna be happy. I'm not gonna be pleased. I hope they don't kill him in this version. I really don't, because I've really grown attached to him. What's this? A spring? That means there's a source of water around here. Right. Christine said that Erik's house is near a lake. Mr. Daroga should know the way to get there. I wonder if I can... Because I actually had to go back and redo the last little bit because it was like, you only got 71%, you can't continue. And I was like, what on earth did I not complete? And apparently I just didn't pick up those little blue note things. I didn't pick up all of them. And I was like, what, really? Really? Do I really need to collect all these to continue? Don't be silly. Are you feeling better? I think so. Let's get going soon. By the way, I found a spring. If there's a spring, there must be a lake nearby too, right? Is Erik's lair around here somewhere? There is indeed a lake down here, but you mustn't go there. What do you mean? If the house is on the lake, naturally one must go across the lake, no? You could lose your life if you go to his house via the lake. Fine, I'll take your word for it for now. But I would still like to see for myself if this lake exists or not. Perhaps it takes more than risking your life to gain my trust, sir. Very well, then let us go down together. I do remember Erik uses a special snorkel to go around in the lake. And Daroga falls in trying to go down there the first time. And Erik gets him out and is like, okay, this is your first and only warning. Do not come down here again or I will kill you. The only reason why I'm not killing you is because you saved me from Persia. Like, I don't know if that will happen in this adaptation, but yeah. Anyway, that's what I can remember from the book anyway. It's been so long. So this is the lake. I've never imagined that there would be a lake right below the opera house. They created this large lake as a temporary measure because they couldn't drain out the groundwater during construction. But now, it's turned out to be quite useful for him. Hold on, isn't that a boat? Oh, I can hear a tiny bit of water ambience. Just a smidge. Look at this, Mr. Daroga. Seems like we can get to his house without having to swim. Viscount, keep calm. Don't worry, I'm a good swimmer. It'll be fine even if I fall in the water. Nah, I won't. Drowning is not the problem here. Getting on that boat is like walking into hell itself. Don't you find it suspicious that the boat is just waiting there for us to get on? So, we are neither to cross the lake, nor get in the boat? Erik's traps could be everywhere. Here, underground, don't trust anything, whatever it may be. He has a point. It's almost too convenient the way in which the boat was placed here. You may be right. After all, he is a master of traps. Have you gone on this boat before? Forget about the lake. I found a passageway to his house before. Are you sure? If I'm not mistaken, we'll have to take the higher path again. While Raoul and Daroga, or rather Nadir, were leaving the boat to take another path, someone else was also busy outside the opera house. But who? Thank you for coming along with me to pick up my purse. Let's hurry and get some rest, my baby. Oh, what are you up to, Meg?
Anyway, Mother, who trapped you in there?
Oh yeah, because Madame Giry got trapped in the closet, didn't she, by the managers?
I was so shocked when people told me about you.
Oh, that was because of those damned managers. What's the use of all these strikes if they keep mistreating people like that? Don't waste your energy on such futile endeavors and focus on ballet instead. You're destined to become the Empress one day when you impress the Emperor.
But still, I'm glad you were able to get out. Who let you out? Was it Mr. Papin? Mr. Remy?
Well, it was the Persian who saved me. How thoughtful and considerate of him to do so. Oh.
The Persian? Mother, are you certain it was the Persian who let you out?
Yes, I don't know how he even knew I was trapped in there, but I'm grateful.
Did he say anything else to you?
Meg, dear child, don't you think you're prying too far now? Let's go in for now. I hope the door won't lock us in.
Come to think of it, Mr. Daroga must know that Christine's missing, right? I'll follow Mother for now. Someone must have seen Mr. Daroga.
Oh, hello. Okay. By the way, guys, if you had a little bit of noise whilst I was in the boat scene, I'm really sorry. There was some workers outside the house and I had to pause recording and come back until they'd gone. They're making a lot of noise. What were you doing outside? If you're not going to follow me in, wait here.
Well,
Oh dear, if anyone looking for the next emperor sees how disobedient you are to your mother.
Mother, please stop.
What did you just say? Is now the time to talk about your mother and daughter issues? Where's the Persian?
The Empress and the Emperor aren't important right now. Do you remember where the Persian went after freeing you?
Meg, why are you so curious about him? You have no need to be concerned about him. It's not possible that he'd be an associate of the Emperor. She's a little bit delulu.
I'm going to find Christine.
You mean Christine the chorus girl? She's probably at home. Why would you look for her at the opera house at this hour?
Because she vanished without a trace while you were trapped.
What?
Oh, heavens. Mother, please help me. I must know where the Persian went in order to find Christine.
I suppose you won't have time to play detective once you become the Empress.
I couldn't care less about becoming the Empress or the principal dancer. The only reason I became a dancer was because you dragged me here. I appreciate how you're always looking out for me, but I must know what I must do right now. I must do what I must right now.
Meg, my sweet baby?
I've given you my everything,
ever since your father died. Was I wrong to wish you to become the Empress? More importantly, do you even love me? Now is not the time. Parental Issues, the musical.
I love you, but I don't like you very much. Oh.
See, snap.
I love you, but I don't like you very much. And I could certainly have a happy life, even if I don't become the Empress. I'll get going then.
She shook. You know, I really enjoy Meg's character arc in this game. Like, because like we've seen her becoming like less nervous and like becoming more confident and standing up for herself. I really enjoy it.
Could there be anyone who's seen Mr. Daroga still in the opera house?
The Keeper. Who is the Keeper? Who is the Keeper? Who is the Keeper? James, do you know where the Keeper is? Oh, box keeper, is that what they meant? Oh.
Madame Cross, I have a question for you.
Oh, hello, Meg. I saw Madame Jury rush off somewhere. Aren't you going to join her?
Did you happen to see where Mr. Daroga, I mean, the Persian went?
Why are you looking for the Persian all of a sudden?
Christine. I have to find Christine. He must know something about her.
Don't worry, the police are investigating the basement as we speak. Plead with her, point out the facts.
But the police didn't do anything the last time Christine disappeared either. We only found out Christine was alright after she returned, didn't we?
Now that you mention it, you have a point. What should we do then?
Please tell me quickly if you saw where the Persian went. There's not much time.
Well, I definitely saw him. Hey, did you happen to see the Persian during your search? The Persian? You mean the bearded man with the scar on his face? I saw him take the Viscount de Chagney to Christine's dressing room. That's good enough. Satisfied, Meg? Meg?
Mr. Daroga, did you go to save Christine? But you told me to forget about Christine before. I won't just sit back and wait. Christine, please stay safe until I come for you.
Oh no, Meg, I don't want anything... I mean, we know that she ends up alive in the end, but I don't want anything to traumatize her. Hence, there were now 2 search parties to find Christine. What does Meg do, then? I gotta find out. Oh no. Oh no.
Christine is there, on the other side of the lake, and I can't even get there. What do you mean we have to find the higher path?
We must return to the passageway where we met the rat catcher.
Pardon?
No time for small talk. Hurry. Oh, fantastic. We're where we were before. What's your plan now? To find another lake? Listen to me carefully, Viscount. There is a small passage down here that I found before.
Does it lead to Erik's house?
I'm not certain of that yet. Oh no, Daroga. No. You found the wrong passageway. I heard him scream in that passage before, but I've never been in there. Scream? But it's too dark here for me to even guess where the passage is. Could there be any clues that could point us towards the passage? Oh, that sound was right in my ear. Ow. The passage is surrounded by wide walls, with a complicated mechanical device nearby. And we must travel higher up to get there. Let's get going then. It's here, I'm sure of it. I recognize these walls. That's good, can you find the passageway? I said I could, couldn't I? First, we must find that mechanical device. Oh, Daroga. The best world-laid plans always lead to hell. Very good, I remember opening this last time. Stand back a little, Viscount. What was that sound? It's the sound of the passage opening. Don't be alarmed. I've tried opening this several times before, so I'm certain it will work. I heard his voice through this hole. His house must be connected to this hole. Can you guys stop saying hole? We must be able to go straight to his house if we go through here. I think so too. I'll jump in first. Follow me carefully. You know what the smart thing to do is if you threw something down there. Like you throw something down there, see how far it is depth-wise. And then like maybe shine a candle or just like maybe one of you look. Or one of you goes in and then says, no, it's a trap. And then, oh, I don't know. It just doesn't... Am I the only one that's like seeing... Like even though Daroga's a clever man, like there's obviously a few flaws in his thinking here. Yeah, that would do it. Ugh, my ankle. Are you alright, sir? I'm fine. I'll catch you. Jump. Here I come, then. Oh, I really don't like this. I don't like this. I remember the scene with Joseph Bouquet. I don't like this. Where are we? It's too dark in here. Fuck. Mr. Daroga? I'm afraid we've fallen into Erik's torture chamber. Torture chamber? So we fell into his trap even before getting to Erik's house. Viscount, stay calm. How do you expect me to stay calm? I trusted you. Follow your lead, and now I'm about to be tortured by Erik. Just because we've fallen into Erik's torture chamber does not mean we'll be tortured right away. Are you sure about that? I know it to be true, since I've seen a torture chamber exactly like this one before, and lived to tell of it. Did you fall into that torture chamber too? No, not quite. Well, you can tell me all about it later. Hot dog lasso? There's something over there. Is it hot dogs? Oh heavens, that's the Punjab lasso. Take your hand off that lasso at once. Is there some kind of trap set on this lasso? The Punjab lasso. Isn't Punjab the name of an area in northern India? What's that got to do with the lasso? This is one of Erik's most dangerous weapons. This is the dangerous noose I told you about earlier. A harmless looking lasso like this? I assume Erik does not fancy swords or guns as his weapon of choice. Well, the 2004 movie, he likes a sword. Can you imagine Erik with a gun? Yeah, that's more your thing, Raoul, isn't it? God. Sip my green tea. Yeah. Erik with a gun just sounds really goofy. Or really sinister, I don't know. Is there an adaptation where he does that? Makes sense, as he detests swords, and has made so many guns that he grew sick of them. Yeah, I guess he wouldn't like Erik then, would he? Huh? Sir, it seems someone else entered this room before we did. If not, why else would that mirror be broken? They've changed the music a little bit. Like, it's not the same dim 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 dim. It's more mysterious. The mirror is broken. It's not a very thick mirror, but is there some sort of metal plate behind it? I'll have to touch it to be able to tell. Careful of your finger, Daroga. Is it cement? I suppose he had to prevent the lake water from seeping into his house. That means we're near Erik's house, doesn't it? We are probably right in front of him. But something's not right. This material wouldn't crack from a mere punch or kick. What tool could have been used to break it? Is there even a tool in here? Yeah, I saw a hammer just down there. Is this torture chamber? Sorry, if this torture chamber were like the one in Rosy Days, there wouldn't be anything but the iron tree, iron bush, and the lasso in here. I kind of like that we're controlling Daroga now. It's pretty cool. Something is engraved in here. Is it a name? Joseph Bouquet. This hammer. Something wrong, sir? Joseph Bouquet. This hammer says Joseph Bouquet. Then that means Bouquet happened to stumble upon the open secret passage whilst wandering through the basement, and jumped in without thinking, kinda like you did. Did you leave the passage open? Oh no, you did? Oh god, that must be a lot of guilt. Oh no, that's... oof. Ooh. Oh, Daroga, it's not your fault though. It's still, Erik is still responsible, but damn, that's... ouch. That's not important right now. In any case, Bouquet must have tried to escape by raking the mirror with the hammer. Correct, but he couldn't do much about the wall behind the mirror. And Erik must have found him dead. Hang on, didn't Erik kill Bouquet? Viscount, do you still not realize why that noose is in here? While the victims are tortured by the endless reflections of illusions from the mirror walls, most of them take the noose and... So once Erik discards our dead bodies somewhere in the theatre, others will find them. Then, people will never stop talking about how our death was a warning from the Phantom. Moreover, Christine will never know that we came for her. For the rest of her life, she will never know. I must express my gratitude to you, Mr. Daroga. I followed you to rescue Christine, and also to exact my revenge upon Erik. But only now do I realize that I should never have trusted a stranger I had just met, no matter how desperate I was. What do we do now? Since you led me here, it's your responsibility to get us out of here as well. Viscount, you must have faith in me. How could I have faith in you after you got us trapped in this torture chamber? How was I supposed to know that the path would lead us here? If you have a problem, then you might as well go ask Erik for help, rather than vent at me. Ah, for heaven's sake. If I get out of here alive, Erik is doomed. Christine. Please wait for me, Christine. I will make him pay for what he's done, no matter what. I'll never let him get away with what he has done to my Christine. Kill. Oh my god, look at that yandere face. I shall kill him. You perverse monster! I shall end you once and for all. Erik must have entered and left this room to remove Bouquet's body. That means that there's a door connecting this torture chamber to another place. I wonder if the Viscount is going to be alright though. He seems to be having a rough time, thanks to Erik. Erik, you'll have to pay for inflicting such suffering on these young, innocent souls. They could all go to hell for all I care! Daroga paused briefly and let out a deep sigh. Christine. Christine, I'm here. I'm sorry I wasn't able to protect you. He won't last long like that. I should distract him. Viscount, don't you want to know about Erik? I do! I'll tear him limb from limb and throw the pieces in that damn lake. No. I mean, don't you want to know more about his life? What a strange thing to distract him with. Why are you talking about his life all of a sudden? You keep hiding things from me, and now we've fallen into a torture chamber. Were you trying to trick me all along? Settle down, Viscount. I must do some plot exposure. In fact, your presence here doesn't really bother Erik as much as you suppose it does. What? Are you making a mockery out of me? Seems to me that you have quite an anger built up inside you. You should have been here a few episodes ago, Daroga. Alright, Raoul, you ready for a therapy session? Why am I just imagining, like, Daroga as a therapist now, and Raoul just, like, on the couch? If you are lucky enough to make it out of here, you should go and rest in the quiet countryside. Stop changing the subject. Prove to me that you're innocent. Did you try and set me up in Erik's trap and kill me? You didn't want to see Christine suffer, did you? That noise. That's the same noise that Richard uses, but it's really funny hearing it from Daroga as well. I had no idea we'd fallen here. If I had tried to trick you, I wouldn't have knowingly jumped in here first. Yeah? Are you saying you are not at fault here, good sir? Raoul, now is just not the time to be casting blame. Like, there's bigger things to worry about. That's not enough, sir. I must know who you are and what your relation to Erik is before I die. Well, he did offer to tell you just now. If you want to know who I am, I must first give you Erik's backstory. Because that's part of this chapter. Yes, I've always been curious. What kind of family gives birth to such a vile, ugly monster? Burn! I don't know why, but that really tickled me. Like, Erik has such a traumatic life, and then Rala's just like, what? Burn. Oh, anyway. I was told that he was born in an ordinary technician's family. Alright, you ready, guys? You ready to hear how much they've changed and what they've kept in this version of Erik's life? In this adaptation? Very curious. What are you going to change, Mazm? Show me. Have you made it even darker? I'm sure you have. A family of engineers. An ordinary technician's family? Erik was born the son of a mason in Rouen about 50 years ago. Do you know where Rouen is? Northern France? Rouen is a city in northern France, above Paris. Are you trying to test my general knowledge? I was testing to see if you've calmed down and are able to think clearly. According to what I've heard from Erik, his father was a very talented mason. Oh, that's interesting that they've given his family some more depth there in that sense, because in the book it's like, yeah, my father left as soon as I was born and my mother, like, didn't even look at me. Like, that was his whole thing, that's all we knew from the book. But they've actually given more, you know. Erik must have inherited his father's skills. However, he was born looking nothing like most other babies. So he was born with a deformity. Was he afflicted with an illness? Had it been an illness, there would have been at least been a remedy for his condition. In any case, his father sold his child to the circus. I thought it was his mother. What? Or does, like, Erik just lie about details and, like, or just, like, embellishes the truth? Wait a moment, Mr. Daroga. Is what you just said really true? Erik never lied about his past.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he didn't, but
He's a compulsive liar, and there's, I don't know, embellishments probably, because I mean, he told Christine that his mother sold him to the circus. There's two different things here, unless there's a translation error in the game, but... How can someone act with such cruelty, let alone to his own son? What kind of person was his father? I don't know. What's clear is that they were handsomely paid. Erik's parents sold him off without even giving him a name. Oh, okay, so he's saying that both of them did, it wasn't just... whatever. Hence, he was called the Walking Corpse at the circus freak show. Oh dear. I've heard members of the freak show lead utterly tragic lives. Even if they leave the circus, they are rejected by society for their unusual appearance, I've heard. That's correct. Erik was treated no better than a beast. Although Erik had proven himself quite talented in many areas, even so. I'm feeling really sad now. I'm like, this is awful. Like, I've got goosebumps and I feel really sad. Oh, he's just a baby. The circus probably only saw him as a monster who made them money. Oh. You know that, do you guys, I don't know how many of you have seen the 2004 movie or hold it in regard. I know some people in the Phantom community don't like it very much. I mean, I don't know. Depends what kind of Phantom fan you are, really, but I love the 2004 movie so much because it introduced me to Phantom, but oh god, that one scene where, like, he's in the cage with the mask on and the children are laughing at him and he's being whipped, it's just, oh, it's so sad. Really sad. Anyway, do you know how his life turned around? I don't know. Did he meet someone special? Are you saying that you took him to Persia when he was young? That's a change from the story. Because in the book and in Susan Kay's book, they meet when they're both adults. Are you saying that you brought him to Persia when he was a kid? I'm the one who took Erik to Persia. At the time, my home country was not in a good situation. Oh god. The British and Russians had crept in. To make things worse, we were embroiled in warfare with our neighbours too. Since His Majesty had ascended the throne at a young age, he turned to the Queen Mother and his cabinet for assistance. When you say His Majesty, are you referring to the Shah, the ruler of Persia? Yes, that's correct. Seems like you know about it. Anyway, the Prime Minister, who dreamed of reforming the country at the time, argued that they should bring in outstanding engineers from abroad. Wait, are you talking about Emir Kabir? I'm surprised that you know about him. Anyway, he was an impressive fellow, although neither His Majesty nor I were particularly fond of him. To get back to the subject, we sought out outstanding engineers and tried to recruit them. We didn't discriminate against their nationalities, age, social class, or even religion. Then I heard a rumor about a talented monster. You mean Erik? That's correct. I'm sure that they could have purchased at least 2 large ships with the money I paid the circus for him. That's quite a sum. When I heard that he was a monster, I imagined it would be someone who looked like a demon, with horns, scales, or claws. But the person I met was a frightened young man, thin as a skeleton. Oh, you look a lot younger in that picture, Daroga. When he left his tent, he clung to me and broke into tears. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, that really got to me. Oh. I'm feeling a lot more sorry for him now. I think we finally got to the part in the story where you feel sorry for Erik, because all this time I've been like, wow, he's such a bastard in this one. Like, he seems even worse than a lot of the adaptations that I've seen him in. Like, I was sort of thinking the other day about the 80s version. Oh, what's his name? I'll put it on the screen right now, but yeah. I don't know, I've just been, all this time, it's been like, oh, Erik is like really awful. Like, I'm really struggling to find anything redeemable about him, but I guess now is the time where we've got to that point in the story. Ugh, he clung to me and broke into tears. I want to protect him! I want to protect young Erik. What's that, that trending audio? I could have parented him. I could have made sure he was alright. Yeah, I'm really feeling that now. All my maternal instincts have just jumped out suddenly. I then gave him the name Erik. I heard that there was once a European king who went by that name, you see. Oh, so you were basically his father. In this version, you're his dad, pretty much. That's very different dynamic to the Susan K version. And the original book, because you're more like buddies in those versions. His Majesty made me responsible for managing Erik. Then you are basically his savior and his family. Well, instead of family, I was more like his supervisor at first. Since we've gone slightly off topic, I'd like to ask you something. What is it? How well did you understand Erik's past? Why must I try to understand his life? You attempt to fight against Erik without even learning about his life? This is really sad. Like, I feel really torn up inside looking at all this. I don't feel like I'm gonna cry, but I do feel like the feelings of it, you know? There. Happy? Now please tell me more about Erik. I see you were paying attention more than I gave credit to. Alright, where was I? You had just given him the name Erik. Oh, that's right. Well, to continue. Oh, look at him! Why was he kinda... I'm going off topic. I might draw young Erik later. Like, I think he looked around my age in that picture, like maybe in his mid-20s. At first, Erik was made responsible for developing weapons. The weapons he developed were most outstanding. Well, what did he make? Would you believe it if I told you he modernized the old puckle gun to fire 100 rounds per minute, and this was 30 years ago? Bro, that's like World War II technology, but in the 1800s, are you kidding? Well, I declare, I've never even heard of such a weapon, even when I was at the military academy. The machine gun used in the war against Persia just 10 years ago could fire 125 rounds per minute. Then that is most impressive. Come to think of it, you are quite knowledgeable about weapons, aren't you? Oh, how much of a dark past do you have, Daroga? Like, how much worse are you than... that's interesting. Like, that I'm sort of sensing that there's a lot more going on with Daroga in this one. He seems to have a much darker hidden side, maybe? We'll see what happens. It's an obsession of sorts. Do they still use that weapon in Persia? I doubt it. There have been many incidents since then. Anyway, so that was 1853. About that time, he was around your age. Oh, so he was only 20? Like, so he was even younger than I am now. About your age? Like, in his 20s, maybe. Yeah. Unbelievable. It couldn't have been easy. He was barely 20 when he invented such machines. I didn't think Erik received any formal education. That's exactly why I called him a genius. But even with such weapons, Persia didn't win the wars against Afghanistan and India. Well, we fought against them in name only. In truth, it was a war against the British, don't you think? Please excuse my rudeness, sir. Genius engineers and outstanding weapons were not enough to turn the situation around. As our total defeat became more likely, His Majesty tried to get rid of the engineers, including Erik. I persuaded His Majesty that Erik's talents could be put to use elsewhere. Were the other engineers all destined to die then? Quite possibly. We couldn't have them leak military secrets to other countries, you see. You're justifying that a little bit too much, Daroga. So Erik had gone from a weapon engineer to His Majesty's personal engineer and jester. That's no way to treat a person who has served the nation so well. He wasn't treated like a person at all. Served the nation, you say? Erik probably didn't even know what he was making. He probably had no idea that countless people would be killed by the weapons he made. When you're making weapons... What, I don't know, like, I mean, Erik didn't have a choice. Yeah, like, he was there and he couldn't get out of it, but when you're making weapons, you know that they're going to be used to kill. Like, machine guns aren't used to hunt animals. They're made to kill people. Since nothing went his way, His Majesty kept looking for more provocative sources of entertainment. Erik created torture devices per His Majesty's orders, and turned them into shows for His Majesty to enjoy. At first, animals were used, and later even criminals. And eventually the court servants. Oh, heavens. Erik was never interested in blades, so he made a weapon of his own. So he used the noose as a weapon? The Punjab lasso was an adaptation of a technique Erik learned from a Punjabi merchant. Originally, it was just a way to tie a strong knot, not a deadly noose to kill people. Countless people have lost their lives to this lasso ever since then. I've never heard anything like this before, sir. Was there such a terrifying secret behind Persia's glorious facade? Don't forget that you are a citizen of a European country, one with many colonies of its own. The exotic allure of my homeland was probably all you could see. You still have a long way to go before you understand the world at all, if you can mutter such things so carelessly.
I apologize for speaking so rashly.
Whatever you learn will probably be used to invade or crush other civilizations. But it's true. What could we do?
Very well. Please just tell me more about Erik, then.
It was as if he were His Majesty's obedient livestock.
Instead of a subject.
Do you think the people at court ever saw him as human? Since His Majesty always had to do as the Queen Mother and the ministers said, he took out all his stress on Erik.
I can't even imagine. What kind of life has he had?
So, the Shah of Persia was what... So Erik became exactly like the person who abused him. That's exactly what happened. Whenever Erik tried to remove his mask in front of him, His Majesty would utter the most violent insults at him. Although Erik rarely showed his face in front of others, he was captivated by delusion that others would treat him violently too if they saw his face. That's not a delusion, that's genuine trauma. That's a trauma response. And understandable, because that's what he's had happen to him. Just as the Shah had been violent to him. That's correct. That's why Erik showed no mercy to whoever saw his face. While Erik despised himself, he was also a narcissist. Aha! What did I say? What did I say? Have you guys heard me in the previous episodes? It was probably his self-defense mechanism to deal with his world of pain and blood. It's actually a very common thing. I have had to deal personally with very... I was going to say a few particular words, I'll detract those. I have unfortunately had many experiences with narcissistic men in particular. And quite often it comes from very traumatic childhoods. It's not an excuse, but it explains. Remember that? Like, always remember that. If you're ever dealing with someone who is a narcissist, and yeah, if you just remember, it doesn't excuse, but it explains. That's all. Persia was not the new life Erik had dreamt of. Just another hell in a different facade. Anyway, His Majesty ordered Erik to build a new palace next to the existing palace, called Farabad, in Mazandaran. Have you ever heard the name Rosy Days? I visited Persia during my travels around the world, but I've never heard of that name before. That makes sense, I suppose. As grand, as beautiful as that palace is, it belongs solely to His Majesty. What's most impressive about that palace is that it has a giant maze made of mirrors. God, there's so many notes in this chapter. Ah, Orientalism. I know a great deal about that. Very interesting. A maze of mirrors must have been very difficult to escape. That's correct. His Majesty was very satisfied with the grandeur and eeriness of the maze. But he soon grew bored when he unraveled the secret. His Majesty then ordered Erik to create something more interesting with mirrors. And so Erik made a torture chamber using mirrors.
The torture chamber.
A place filled with nothing but steel forests, inescapable illusions, and heat. His Majesty was gleeful to see Erik's prisoners writhe in such agony. Do you think Erik enjoyed watching prisoners suffer in agony from the very beginning? I can't say. I am unsure if His Majesty forced him to, or he naturally found joy in such perversion from the start. I think that he didn't at first, but it's probably something that developed, anyway, I shouldn't keep talking about this stuff, but let me know what you personally think. I personally think that it developed very, very quickly. He was like, oh, I don't want to do this, I've endured such suffering myself. And then it was like, well, I've been through hell, all of you prisoners can have hell now too, and it became a sadistic thing. What I can say for sure is that he seemed like a person who had totally forgotten about his painful childhood. Did no one persuade Erik to stop doing such terrible things? I mean, if he tried to, he would have been killed, right? It's not as if he had much choice at that point, right? Maybe? I don't know. Erik must have been around 35 by then. In order to forget about the country's trouble from within and abroad, His Majesty made Erik do even more cruel and violent things. What? How much worse can it get? Oh, wow. In the Susan Kay book, Erik kills the, what was it? I don't know if it's the Prime Minister or the Royal Advisor, but Erik assassinates him in the Susan Kay book, but he doesn't do it on the Shah's orders, I believe. I think he just did it because he didn't like the guy. So, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong though, if you've read the Susan Kay book. I would actually recommend the Susan Kay book a lot. It is really good. I think up until the part where we meet Christine and he returns to the Opera House, that stuff, forget about it. That part of the book is just no. Because she brings in an Oedipus complex for no reason, and it really grossed me out. But everything before that, the way she writes about Erik's childhood, his time in Persia, it's really interesting. And the political intrigue is I love reading about that stuff and watching it on TV. So I really enjoyed reading that at the time. But yeah, would recommend. He even had Erik invent devices to keep in check the regional lords who dared to defy him, and to assassinate them if needed. While Erik felt pure joy from creating such devices, anyone could tell immediately that all that work led Erik astray. Yeah, it would. It would with anyone. At some point, a blood-stained madness started to lurk in his eyes, and that made Erik a real monster. Christine was right. The true horror lay elsewhere. Indeed. What turned Erik into a true monster was not his face, but the people who drove him down to hell. Miss Daae was lucky, so to speak. And Christine is in the hands of such an atrocious monster. Sir, you said Erik was led astray. Was there no one to set him on the right path? I'm sure Daroga tried. Is that what he's going to tell us? He must feel so much guilt. He's like, I brought this poor kid to Persia because it was my job to, but I set this child up to endure a horrific life and become evil. That is so much guilt. I can't imagine. Well, I should have been the one to do that. But it was clear that Erik would leave Persia if he realized the true nature of what he was doing. It was certain that he would suffer most immensely the moment he realized the difference between good and evil. But wait, you mean you didn't intervene even when you knew what Erik had been doing and what had been done to him? Daroga! It wasn't my place to go against His Majesty's wishes. So you were complicit, basically. Don't make excuses. Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you think I treated Erik the same way His Majesty did? If it weren't for me, Erik would have been depraved beyond salvation, a true devil incarnate. All right then, let's hear it. So what have you done for his sake? I watched out for him, ever since he first set foot in Persia. Erik relied on me greatly ever since he arrived to the foreign land. Especially ever since His Majesty discarded him one time. Yeah, I suppose you did save his life, but at what cost, right? Erik was a totally different person when he was with me, not by His Majesty's side. Would you care to elaborate? Oh, his eyes were darkened with fear and hatred towards the world and himself. So, also in the Susan K book, Daroga has a son that's very ill. I won't say what happens to him if you want to read the book, but, like, I guess maybe they combined his relationship with his son to his connection with Erik. That's really sad. And no mask on earth was able to cover up his bloody madness. But when he was with me, the wounded beast was gone. Oh, the way they were reading the book. Oh, he looked like a child with his dad. That really got to me. Oh. I only prayed that Erik would find comfort and sanity by my side, free from any negativity eating him up inside. I'm really getting upset. Which is why I couldn't talk to him about His Majesty or guide him to what was right or wrong, good or evil. But sir, you knew what he was going through and still... I hadn't completely given up on persuading him otherwise. I was worried about him, but at the same time I didn't want him to leave my side. I was the only person he could confide in without his mask on. I always thought of him as a friend, rather than someone under my supervision. Even now I consider him thus. So you were Erik's friend after all. I'm not sure he shares that sentiment though. What did you do? What did you do to make him leave you behind in this story? Perhaps he wanted me to love him in place of his cruel father. Oh, that got me. That got me right in the heart. However, the world has presented him with nothing but an abyss of despair to a man who so craved for love. I would have taken care of him. And like any father would, I accommodated his every wish. I wanted him to feel as if he was up in a heavenly garden, not entrapped in a deadly hell. This is so f***ing sad! Although Erik sought fatherly love from both me and His Majesty, everything became my responsibility in the end. So what happened to that strange game of pretending to be family in the end? That game was shattered to pieces. I can't, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I might end the episode after I find, whenever I gifted him potted plants, they would die within weeks. This is, I've put off doing this particular chapter for a while because I've had a big change in my life recently, a very positive change, but I've been focusing on sort of putting all my energy into that, and when you don't have much energy left, you don't really want to look at stuff that's about, you know, really deep dark shit, if you know what I mean. Like, it's important to take breaks and take care of yourself, but oh yeah, I might have to pace myself a bit. This is really sad. This reminds me of his destiny. What destiny? What am I looking at? Where do you want me to go? If you cared for Erik so much, why did you let him go down such a terrible path? I couldn't just sit back and watch Erik continue to go astray. As much as I knew that I would eventually suffer because of Erik, I was more afraid of the harm that would come to him. His Majesty was fond of Erik, but he did not want his existence to be known beyond the court. I used that fact against him. What did you mean? Did you frame Erik? What? That's correct. The day we received an emissary from Russia, our adversary. Are you kidding me? What? Bro! What the hell? Oh my god! No! Oh, you son of a... The f***? I can't... I wasn't trying to get him killed. I only tried to create an opportunity for him to get away. I thought he would be exiled at worst, not executed. You had that coming. Yeah, you did. So then what happened? Did you find it hard to kill the men you regarded as family with your own hands? In the Susan Kay book and in the original book, like, the Shah wants to kill Erik because he doesn't want any of his secrets of the palace coming out. So he's like, okay, Daroga, get rid of him. But Daroga, like, helps him escape. I prefer that. That's so much nicer. What the hell? This is horrible. This makes Daroga look like such a slimy, sneaky, really insidious person, actually. Since I had connections with the Sultan of Turkey, I secretly sent Erik to Turkey. I then obtained a drowned corpse to make it look like Erik had died while trying to escape. This is complicated, I don't know. This is really complicated. His Majesty pursued the matter of Erik no further, but took my privilege and title away from me. So I decided to flee to France to stay alive. Out of all the countries and cities in the world, you just had to choose Paris or France to flee to. I am still unaware of what it was that led me to Paris. Leaving my homeland meant my life would not be easy, but no hardship could compare with how Erik had to suffer. I don't know, dude. I feel very complicated about Daroga now. Yeah, same, Raoul. I'm not sure about this. That's so complicated. I don't know where you want me to... Like, he keeps making me move around the room. I'm certain Erik made a name for himself in Turkey as well. Oh, and that's where he met, oh god, why have I forgotten her name? It's been an entire month since I've recorded anything. But yeah, that's where he met the other girl. I don't think anyone else in Turkey would have been capable of creating such an automaton that resembles a human being so much. But apparently the false rumour I spread made its way to the Sultan's ears as well. You certainly ruined his life. Yeah, you kind of did. A little bit. You made it much harder. I did not ruin it. Erik would have surely met his doom in their custody. I later heard that Erik fled Turkey for France. And that's the end of my story. Alright then, let me summarize your story. By all means. Raoul, why'd you say that so cheerfully? The third picture of Erik in particular I quite like. I love the billowy shirt. It's very 2004, Erik. You seem to remember everything perfectly. Yeah, I do. Well, thank you, sir, for that long and detailed excuse. You know what? You were the one who broke Erik beyond repair, not the Shah, but you. No, speak no more. I've heard enough of your excuses. Or would you prefer if I showed you step by step how you ruined Erik's life? Bro. I think Raoul kinda has a point as well. The man, Jesus. It's not just his life you ruined either. All those people who were killed by his inventions. Joseph Bouquet, and the lady who was killed by the chandelier. Those people in the opera house threatened by him. And even Christine and me. It even seems like there was someone else imprisoned in Erik's house. This is all your fault, sir. What? What did you say? Someone else is in prison there? Erik, he lied to me. Face reality, Mr. Daroga. Too many people suffered because of... Viscount, do you think I'm responsible for those atrocities? Did I kill or abduct anyone like Erik? Erik is the one who ultimately committed such evils. Yeah, that is true. It's just kind of shit that you put him in that path, essentially. I don't know, it's... oh god, it's complicated, but yeah, true. He's the one you should be angry at, not me. I'm aware of that, but I can't say that you're completely free from blame. You said you wanted Erik to live in a heavenly garden, not in hell. The Shah may be the one who darkened Erik's eyes with blood and ashes. But you, sir, were the one who blinded him, rather than clearing his vision. And everything that's happened here is a consequence of your actions. Am I wrong? Think whatever you'd like, Viscount de Chagney. But I tried to protect you and Miss Daae. Oh, is that right? Well, you certainly were helpful in that sense. I'd like to explain what I've gone through. Please be my guest. I won't stop you. I don't think I can bear to hold back my rage for everything that's happened because of you. After Erik, you bear the most responsibility for these horrific events. You're free to think whatever you'd like. Damn it all to hell. This is all because of Mr. Daroga. How dare he try to get out of this hell alone. Damn it all to hell. Oh, that's such a sad picture. Oh.